Hey guys, enter the stars and good evening. We have another potential dam situation in Southern California at Isabella Dam. Now, this dam carries some personal meaning for me because this dam is a dam that I've fished at many summers up in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And this dam actually feeds the Kern River, which is stocked full of trout every year. Now, during the drought, it was not a problem that this dam was leaking, which is what's happening here. Now, you can see some of this effect down here. We're going to look at some newscasts. We're going to look at what the situation and the history is behind this dam. The leak is occurring on the auxiliary portion of the dam. Here's the main dam here. This is Isabella Dam. And as you can see, the drought-like conditions of this area, and now this landscape has completely changed because Lake Isabella is inundated with water. Water levels are rising, and that is why we have this specific problem now. They were trying to allow this lake to drain so that they could do the repairs to the auxiliary portion of the dam, which is here on your right-hand side. And now we have rain, and this now is becoming a huge problem. Now here's where the leak was occurring. You can see where the grass has been growing, where the leak is coming out of, right around this area along this rim here. And they're saying it's because of the type of substrate that was used to build this side of the dam versus the other side of the dam. Now, this is unbelievable because we're going to watch this short clip about the history of this, and then we're going to go into Wikipedia as well. Let's take a look here. Now, this dam has been leaking since 2007, but again, it has not been an issue until now because of all of the rain that is in snow that is hitting the Sierra Nevada mountains. Let's look and see what is going on with this dam as soon as I get this pulled up. See all of you guys coming into the chat here. No screen, Casey. Oh, let me share screen. Sorry about that. Appreciate it.
Disaster and evacuations have Kern County asking just how safe the Isabella Lake Dam is right now for us. 23 ABC's Brandon Johansson is live there now, answering that very question for us tonight. Brandon.
Yeah, Jackie, with everything going on up in Orville, we want to check on the status of our dam here in Kern County. Right behind me here is the base of the Isabella Lake Dam. That is the
base of the dam.
Flow coming out right there. It's been increased to about 1,800 cubic feet per second rather today. They've been increasing it all day today. That's both in preparation for the coming.
Sorry, guys. Let this load up. So here's the dam. This is where the leak's occurring. Underneath the dam, it's coming in underneath the dam. They're saying this is because of the type of material that was used. As you can see here, it almost looks as if they were trying to patch it. You see how this color here, this area here is different than the area up here. So it seems like they were trying to do like some kind of a patch job down here at the base of the dam. Let's put this in 3D and see if we can increase the size of this and get a 3D perspective. Again, this is the auxiliary portion of the dam, and now with the water levels and snowpack at all-time highs is going to put increased pressure on this dam. Now this is serious because they've been talking about evacuation plans, talking about Bakersfield being underwater in a matter of 2 to 4 hours, people not being able to escape. And if this dam was to go, this would be the perfect scenario. Heavy rain year. This is the first heavy rain year we've had since they saw that this dam was leaking underneath. And here from this wide angle, you can definitely see the green area where the dam is leaking out from under. Okay, let's go back in here and see if we can't make this video play. Let's refresh this. Thanks for reminding me that I was not showing screens. So I appreciate you guys making sure that we're aware of that. So let's see here. Let's let this play.
Disaster and evacuations have Kern County asking just how safe the aging Isabella Lake Dam is right now for us. 23 ABC's Brandon Johansson is live there now answering that very question for us tonight. Brandon.
Yeah, Jackie, with everything going on up in Orville, we want to check on the status of our dam here in Kern County. Right behind me here is the base of the Isabella Lake Dam. That is the outflow coming out right there. It's been increased to about 1,800 cubic feet per second today. They've been increasing it all day today. That's both in preparation for the coming winter storm that's coming up at the end of this week, but also it's just to be safe. Julie Martinez has a pretty important job.
We're paid to be concerned about that kind of thing. That's why we're up here.
She's the resident engineer on the upcoming Lake Isabella Dam construction project, a job that now seems more important than ever.
For the Army Corps of Engineers, it's the #1 dam for potential problem in the country. So that's why I'm here.
Martinez.
There you just heard it. The #1 dam in the country for a potential problem.
And her coworkers are keeping.
Now, this was dated February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day this year.
An even closer eye on the Lake Isabella Dam these days.
Now, why this isn't national news? That is a very good question. Everyone's focused on the Orville Dam.
Especially after issues with the Orville Dam nearly 400 miles north of here resulted in the evacuation of thousands.
Do we think it's on the scale of Orville? No.
Good news there, but still an ever-present concern. The auxiliary dam in Lake Isabella is leaking underneath due to material that the dam was built from. The emergency spillway connected to the main dam is relatively small. Both of these issues and others are set to be remedied during the construction project, set to kick off towards the end of this year. But for now, they have to watch the dam closely to avoid any potential disasters.
And what they're not telling you is that they're not going to be able to do the dam construction project if the lake is full of water. Okay? The whole purpose of draining the lake and allowing it to drain to almost nothing was so that they could effectively work on the dam. Let's continue.
Water levels reach gross pool. We're going to be very concerned that we're close to a catastrophic failure. And catastrophic failure means Bakersfield.
An auxiliary dam failure would essentially put much of Lake Isabella underwater. And it would then rush into Bakersfield.
There's no release of this water to the ocean. It will stay there. So that makes it a lot more critical.
For now, her team doing critical work, feeding numbers daily to the water master in Bakersfield and the Water Management Board in Sacramento. Those numbers led to an increase in outflow today, sending more water down the Kern River and lessening the pressure on the dam. It's a pretty important job.
Because obviously, there's a lot at stake here.
Now, the Army Corps does not step in and control the release of water until it hits gross point. You heard Martinez talking about that gross pool point. Gross pool point here, as far as elevation goes, is about 2,589 feet. And right now, the lake is about 2,580. So you can see they're pretty close. That is why they're releasing so much water at this time, flowing down the Kern River. And of course, if it reaches that gross pool point, they're going to step in and basically tell the water management team that they need to release even more water. But for now, from Lake Isabella, Brandon Johansson, 23 ABC News.
So there you go. There's the update. This is huge. This isn't just something that we can look the other way at. It's already been assessed. It's already been looked at. Let's take a look at some of the history behind this in Wikipedia. It says here, with more than 300,000 people living and working below the dams, primarily in the town of Lake Isabella and the city of Bakersfield, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers began a dam safety modification study in 2006 to address seismic, hydraulic, and seepage issues at the dams. It says dams here. Interesting. On April 28th, the seepage problem was found in the Isabella Auxiliary Dam. We just looked at that. Officials determined that it would be necessary to restrict the maximum reservoir elevation to 20 feet below the spillway or normal full pull. We just heard them talk about that. Dam's releases through the outlet were increased, allowing the water to flow at 4,500 cubic feet per second. In May 2006, due to more than average rainfall and snowpack in the mountains and warmer than average temperatures in the area, the upper Kern was filling the lake faster than they could lower it. Lower Kern River was also running higher than normal. So they had a problem back in 2006. They identified the seepage problem just before that, and they almost had an issue with it in 2006 because 2006 was a high rain year, kind of like the year we're having now in California. So they tried to let out as much as possible, but then there was some flooding downstream reported by property owners along the river part. They had to take the lane down to one lane even on the road that goes up to this dam. So after the news of the seepage, the dam came under further attention due to being situated on a fault line. So we got a fault line situation here as well. My question is, why are all these dams located on fault lines? Fault line was thought to be inactive, but in February 2007, a study by the Army Corps of Engineers found evidence of at least one earthquake in the last 5,000 years. Okay, that's not a big deal. Therefore, judged the fault line was active. With new information about the fault line, the study said the dam would not likely be in danger. They confirmed the high-risk classification of the dam, ranking Isabella among the 6 highest risk and highest priority dams in all of America, and later elevated it to the highest priority. This dam is even in more danger than the Oroville Dam. They listed it at the highest priority. Now I'm going to jump in the chat. Make sure you guys are all with us tonight. I guess nobody cares that they have a highest risk priority dam in all of America tonight, unless this was not shared with everybody. So you guys please share the link. It's up in the top. Hit these share buttons here. Make sure everybody comes into the show and knows about this threat. Now let's continue on with this. In 2008, local officials brought in a team of emergency response experts being working on an evacuation plan in case Isabella Dam were to fail. In 2012, so they were working on an evacuation plan. And in 2012, they entered the engineering and design phase of the project. And in 2014, the Corps had an agency technical review for the first 35% of the planning of the project. They've been planning this thing since 2008, and here we are in 2017, and they haven't even started the project. Corps began testing water flow of the model of the project that was built and was studying at Utah University. John Prettyman of the U site in Sacramento said the model is approximately 1/3 the size of a football field. So the project will not increase the current storage level or capacity of the dam. The Corps explained that would require an additional study and authorization. However, during the construction, the water level will be intentionally lowered if need be. This is what I was just telling you about, that they've been doing. They've been lowering the level of the lake in anticipation of doing this project. The problem is they've been doing this for the last 5 years, and now we're in another high rain year. They're not going to be able to lower this lake. We're going to have the same scenario that we did in 2006, where they could not lower the lake, and it was putting all this pressure on the lake or on the dam, and they will not be able to work on it as soon as they need to. It says here, an operating restriction is currently in place, limiting the lake's normal storage capacity to reduce the risk of the seepage and seismic concerns while a permanent solution is investigated. USH has implemented increased surveillance and monitoring, stockpiling of emergency materials, warning sirens in the town of Lake Isabella. That's the town below the dam. Similar orientation to like Oroville, the city of Oroville, underneath Oroville Dam. But Lake Isabella, the city, is actually much closer and will suffer even further if the dam were to burst. Installation of additional instrumentation for monitoring and continued public outreach with Kern County and the local public. So this is what's going on, you guys. We have another potential disaster in the works, all due to this high amount of rain coming, a potential situation where the dam is again filling up faster than they can let the water out, which is what happened in 2006. I wanted to get this out to you guys so people could be aware of what's going on and be warned. If this could affect some people's decision to live underneath this dam, especially in a year like this. So maybe someone's on the fence about moving, and all of a sudden, this might be something where this is going to put them over the edge to make a choice to maybe get out of the area. Okay. All right, I'm in the chat. Let's hang out for a bit, you guys. I see K Small, Autumn Kite, Ozaru, Irene's in the house, USN Gray Ghost. Much love to you guys. Irene says, I live in Kern County and they don't care. Yes, they don't care. How long, Irene, have they been lowering Lake Isabella? It seems like it's been like 5 years and they haven't even started this project yet. They could have done it during the drought years. They could have easily gotten this project done, and they've just been dragging their feet because welcome to California, right? See, identify this. See Wayne, Life of Cal, Georgia T, Air Vent. Yeah, Bob Grattan. Caesar, much love to you too.
Disaster and evacuations have Kern County asking just how safe the.
All right. Sure, Gray Ghost. Yeah, I want to keep you guys updated. This has not made national news yet. It's local news, but it has the potential to be a disaster, especially with this year. I would not be mentioning this if it weren't for all the rainfall that California is getting and all the additional pressure that this dam is being put under this particular year. Now, I fished Isabella over the last 6 or 7 years, and I just slowly saw it draining, basically, as they were draining it and letting all the water out so that they can prepare to work on this dam. And fished it with a friend that I had at the time, fished the Kern River and all of that area, camped and fished. And there was a talk about the dam. There were actually even some engineers that we ran into while we were hanging out at the local bar. And what ended up happening was these people were very secretive about what they were actually working on at the dam. And they just were there. They were like, I don't know if they were federal or state workers, but there were a lot of people hanging around that dam. And to me, that was very suspicious. Like, they knew that this problem was much bigger than anyone had anticipated. And as you just saw, this dam is ranked #1 in America for failure. And that's just the auxiliary portion of it, which would release much of this water down into the Bakersfield area. So we've also got the melting snow. Yes, X-ray 22. That's coming as well. Lots and lots of snow this year. Ozar says the part of the dollar casey that overlaps the White House that looks like the owl is also the same part of the bill that has the owl. Sorry for the change of subject. Oh, no problem. What else do we have here in the chat? So hopefully get this out, you guys. People need to know about this. Again, it has not made national news. And R.A. Christ wants to get banned. That's cool. You're not supposed to use that kind of language on my channel. So take care. And so what else do we have here? Yeah, get the word out. Mike says it's like they want every lake to end up like Owens near Mount Whitney. Okay. Looking through the live cams in the morning, most cameras are covered in the dark gray clouds and plenty of chemtrails going by. Yeah, and yeah, we just had also, you guys, this we talked about the gold. I think Dabu was the first one to mention it on Underground World News about sluice boxes and gold. And then I was looking at the dam at Orville and I was like, man, the spillway looks like a giant sluice box. And then we postulated that there was probably gold being dislodged out of that mountainside with all that damage that was coming down through there. No sooner had he and I both said that, they actually went down there, they shut off the spillway at Orville, and the crews are down there, quote unquote, removing debris and dredging. And I did talk to a friend who's a gold prospector, and he believes that in order to process all that material, you would actually see the operation taking place. It's not like you can just go down and, like, I guess, walk down. Like, they would actually have additional like sluice boxes, like on a much smaller version, of course, but industrial size, processing the material. My suggestion is, if we want to see for sure if these people are processing gold, is have the guy who was down there filming try to get as close as possible and point his camera down the bottom of the spillway where all this is taking place and see if he can detect any kind of mining operation going on. That's my suggestion. I don't live all that close to that area. I guess, how far is Orville from you? Yeah, I don't live close to there, so I wouldn't be able to go up there, but that's what my recommendation would be, is for someone to go down there with the camera and point it down in that area and see if you see any kind of mining operation going on. Now, they might be doing this under the cover of darkness, so some people might want to go stealth, go at night, see if there's any big floodlights, see if they're dragging in any strange looking equipment, to get an idea of what this equipment looks like. There's a show called like Alaskan Gold Mine or something, and that's what the type of equipment they'd be using to process this material down there. Again, the spillway shut off at Orville Dam. It's probably all pretty much dried out by now, and they will be down there moving boulders and debris and dredging the bottom of the spillway. So what we're looking for is gold processing equipment. That's what we're looking for down there for anybody that's in that area who wants to travel up there. Now, my guess is they're probably not letting anyone get anywhere close to that dam. Like, I mean, the only way you'd be able to see is if you got right up to the border of where they're blocking everyone off at and just send a drone straight up in the air and hope that you clear the trees and can look down onto the area. That would be my recommendation. I don't know if the guy who was up there at Orville had a drone, but if he did have one, I would go right up to where they say you can't go past this point and shoot that drone straight up in the air and point it right at the bottom of the spillway and take some shots. And that's what we need to see right now, because if they're processing gold, we have a right to know that as American citizens and taxpayers, right? So that's where everything sits, you guys. I just wanted to pop on here, let you know that this is somewhat breaking news. It did happen a few weeks ago, but never made national news. And so, we got 300,000 people sitting underneath this dam, and it is leaking from the bottom. Again, it is rated the most likely dam, the highest priority to fail in all of America. So this is serious. This isn't fear mongering. This is the truth. And we'll be keeping a close eye on this as the lake levels continue to increase. I wonder if there's, let's see here. Let's see if there's any inflow, outflow. Isabella Dam inflow, outflow. See if there's any numbers posted like real time. Like with Orville, we can actually look at this. And so I wonder if this is posted publicly. And if it's not, this will be interesting, because let's see here. If there's more water coming in than going out, Houston, we have a problem, right? We need to see the levels. Isabella Dam lake levels. They're posted publicly. See, Orville has them posted publicly, but let's see if Isabella Dam does. Daily weather information on reservoirs. I don't see anything. If you guys have a link to the actual lake levels at Isabella, that would be helpful, so I can keep an eye on it, see if it's filling or if it's draining. Water level Isabella following critical levels. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to show us the lake levels, Isabella, unless you guys have it. So that's where everything sits, you guys. Back in the chat. I'll be doing parts 2 and 3 on the dollar bill. We were able to overlay that onto Washington, D.C., as well as over Hoover Dam, and the bill seemed to fit. Now, these were re-upload videos from, I think, a couple years ago or maybe last year, but I felt it though as though it was relevant to get those videos re-uploaded. So I appreciate that. I see K Small in the house, Tammy, the big P99, Deborah, Wayne. I do all's in the house. All right. Okay, guys, I guess I'm going to pop off of here. And hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Much love. Take care and be safe.